Hey everybody, this is going to be part 2 of the Q&A that we started yesterday. And this is going to be the more collective part of it where I had to go around and grab stuff. This is the first one, this is the first question. It had the most knives in it, so it's going to be kind of chopped up into bits. You're going to see this and then it's going to be gone. But here we go. Here we go. Listen to this. Martial Law 123. Martial Law. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you could only keep 10 knives, excluding your Demcos and Formaxes, those are off limits, what would they be? Well, that made it really tough, because the other question, without the extra addendums, would have been easy. So I've gathered them all here, and I'm just going to grab them randomly. I love this knife. I would definitely keep the Gecko from Steel Will. I'm going to keep the Lynn Thompson Voyager. The XHP, just a good self-defense kind of knife. You know, and it's not super heavy either. I guess it's because it's that Voyager. But I would definitely keep this one. The XHP Voyager. Let's see, make sure to keep that in camera. I'm going to keep this knife. This is this Colossus. I love this knife, the way it feels. It's got a lot of uses. Now, this isn't like a post-apocalyptic, what's the end of your world type grabby thing. This is just something, if I had to keep 10 in my collection, and that has to do with which ones am I going to look at, which ones I enjoy playing with and using. This one's got a lot of different uses to it. So there's that one, the Colossus. And then this one I got back from Benchmade. Definitely going to keep an Adamas with me. Oh, that's beautiful. You got to keep one of these jobbers. Got to have an Adamas. Alrighty, next one, the Spartan. I love the Spartan. Just feels good in the hand. You know, if you're going to do a wraparound on that pinky area, that's the way it should be right there. Just, it feels comfortable. It's not jamming up into my chunky flesh. So definitely keep the Spartan. And I know that's not the high-end steel or anything like that. That's that BD1. And it's good steel, but the knife just is awesome. Okay, I'm going through the folders first, just in case you didn't understand. I'm going to keep my Freeman flipper because it's a Freeman flipper. It's great. Oh, that's not in camera. I need a new camera. Let's do that. We'll do that when we stop buying knives, won't we? Oh, this is, oh, the Loco. Yes. You'd have to be Loco not to keep the Loco. All right, let me move these around a little bit so I can get the big guys out here. All right. Now, my first fixed blade I'm going to keep is the Cold Steel Warcraft Tento. This just has a really good feel to it, and it'd be fun to use and abuse and whatnot. And 3V steel, how are you going to go wrong with that on a user? So I would keep that. Now remember, this isn't my super bug out collection. That's a different question. He asked if what 10 knives would I keep for my collection that aren't Demcos, and these are the ones. Alright, my next one, because I took this to mean I had to get rid of all my kitchen knives as well. So if I was going to keep one kitchen knife, oh, this thing. I just got this recently, and I'm telling you what, if I'd have one kitchen knife, this thing chops and slices and cuts through meat and everything else. This is that Tops Frog Market XL. Just a great knife and super useful. This is definitely a knife I've been using a lot, and I'm probably going to do a video on it in the next couple of days. Alright, so let's keep going. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What? 9? I think the question was 10. Oh, what am I going to do? Who's going to go away? Alright, somebody has to go away. Oh, that's a hard one. I pulled out 11 knives. How did I do that? 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 11. Alrighty then. Well, I think the Adamas is going to have to go away. He fills a good slot, but the Loco fills it better. So don't just pretend you didn't see the Adamas, because I'm not good at math. Okay, my next one is going to be this knife here. This is, oh, the Tops Kumatakri. Yeah, that's awesome. That is a great knife. This thing just chops. and it's sharp on both sides, so it's useful this way, useful this way, it's useful that way. You want to punk somebody in the head with it. Just, this is a cool knife. One of my favorite tops fixed blades. One of my favorite fixed blades, period, because it's awesome. Alright, so there you go. And then, of course, you knew it was coming. There's no way I'm getting rid of this. Oh, El Chete. Welcome to El Chete, my friends. Ah, no. Oh, this thing's a monster. This thing is just crying out for destruction. I had to put it back in its sheath before it starts getting antsy. Alright, so those are the 10. You know number 11 also, but those are the 10 non-Demco, non-Formax knives that I would keep should I have to be regulated down to 10 knives. Alright, more questions to come. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Let me put some out here we can look at together. Alright, we're back. Here's the second part of a question from last night. They asked me initially what was my favorite comfort food. I gotta find out who asked this. Oh, Jared Tyra. He asked me what my favorite comfort food was. That was nachos. And then the second part was, and as far as knives, what is your favorite knife strictly as far as ergonomics go? That's easy. This knife. This knife fits in my hand like it was made for my hand. It's awesome at all kinds of angles. You can even get back here on it and do some chopping, get up close and do some work. There's nothing hot spotty that I find on this knife at all. Especially if you get the first run or an Italian one. Just perfect. Smoothed out scales. And this is my favorite ergonomic knife. Does that make sense? Alright. Excellent. Let's keep going. Alright. We have Priority Survival. He asked the following question. This is a good one. If you had $1,000 to spend on 3 knives total, what would they be? You have 3 categories. A flipper, you have to get a thumb stud, and you have to get a fixed blade. Well, the flipper, we'll just bring back our friend. If I could find him. Here he is. This is the flipper I would keep, or I would buy. There you go. And that's not saying that's the greatest flipper, but this is the budget, remember. So we're going to spend $275 on this flipper, so that leaves us what? $725. Alright, then my next blade is going to be this one for the thumb stud. I mean, that was an obvious choice, I think. He didn't put any qualifiers on it. He just left it open, so I'm going with this one. So that's about, you know, depending on where you go, let's just say $350. So $350, $275, carry the 2, and we still have what? $350 left. So we still have about $375 left. And then if I had to get one fixed blade, I'm going back. Oh man, this is a hard one. I think I'm going to take. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna go with the tops. No, I'm not. I changed my mind at the last second. I'm going El Chete just because it's awesome. I'm going to go with El Chete again. I know it seems like a repetitive thing, but look at that beast. Oh, all right. So those are my 3, and then I'll have enough money left over. I'll have $100 and something left over, and I'll send somebody a pith knife with the 100 and something. So those are my 3 favorites. I guess if I was going to kick up this a little bit, and I was going to get a different flipper on that, since I have a little extra cash, I think I might be able to work in this knife instead. Let's check that out, put this in there. What do you think? Alright, so we're going to go Hinderer. What do we think? About $350? $700? $900? That still gives me $100. $1,000 is a lot of money for 3 knives. There's my 3 right there. Alright, there we go. Good question. Alright, Doc Holiday asks, what is the Mr. Burst, what's the best and worst quality knife you have owned? Well, let's start out with the worst. And this isn't the absolute worst as far as I could grab like a Frost cutlery or something that you picked up at a gas station or something like that. This, I'm gonna talk about this knife. This is just disappointing on all kinds of levels. Customer service, blade steel, lockup. So as far as quality, I'm gonna say this one's garbage because of the expectations that I had for it and how good it could have been. That's my worst knife. I don't like that one. And I want something like that, which is kind of disappointing in itself. And now for the best quality knife that I have. I'm gonna find it right now. Hold on one second. Bad TV. Bad. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is just one of them, but it's definitely gonna be a Demco. Just locked up, and this one's nice. This one's thinner than the other 8010s, and just feels more carryable. Is that a word? I just made it a word. You can carry this one easier. Really nice, but they're all like this. They're all just smooth and locked up and feel good in the hand. So that's, the Demcos are my highest quality knife by far. Definitely something I want to get more of, or I would get more of. All right, so that's a good question, Doc. Okay, Dale Prentice asks, what is your most important knife in your collection? He said, mine is my grandfather's knife that he gave me when I was a child before he passed away. That inspired me to start collecting knives. I was 13 when he died, and I'm 25 now. I understand that. That's definitely a sentimental type of blade. And that's what mine is. I have a couple that are very sentimental like that. And I have that Buck 112. So I think that's probably the most irreplaceable blade, just because I got it when I was a kid. This kind of the one that got me into the whole. This is my first knife that I ever collected, first knife I ever had, and I carried this thing. It's crazy. I carried this thing around with me so much when back then. It was a different time, back in the early '80s, late '70s. You carry this when you're a 8-year-old kid, and nobody worries about it. Now it'd be an issue. Let's not get political. Okay, so that's definitely the one I'm most important to me. There's some other ones like I know it sounds silly, my little pink Griptilian that my wife got me, that kind of was my first step into the higher end knives, which, $90 back then, $100 on a knife. It's kind of crazy. It makes sense now. I can see it. All right, so that is the most important knife. Okay, and Uncle Cow, I love that name. Uncle Cow asked me, what do you carry for self-defense? This, I carry about 90% of the time. That's my self-defense knife right there. It's light, it's strong, and it's super rippy, and it's intimidating enough to maybe deter somebody from punching you on the end of your nose repeatedly. I'm not looking to get into a fight. I'd probably get worked in a fight, but just as a deterrent, this kind of snaky looking, people outside of the knife community don't know what to make of it. So that's my self-defense knife. Joseph Pettis, he asks, what is your favorite Demco knife? That's a good question. You know why? Because it gives me a chance to just go through and look at all of them and touch them and grab them. I know it'll be a hard question for you to answer, and that's why inquiring minds want to know. Well, oddly enough, my favorite Demco is not in my possession, so I'm going to have to go for my second favorite Demco, the 5 Max. I love this knife. The 4 Max, this custom 4 Max is my favorite. This one is my second favorite. Just a beast. You don't see very many of these, and it's just a monster. It's just locked up great, and just a great knife from a great maker. Okay, so that is the Joseph Pettit question. Thank you, sir. I look for any opportunities to share Lord Demco's revelations with us. All right, continue on. All right, Wiggly Wolf Productions asks, what is the crappy knife you're embarrassed to love? You know, I thought about that question a lot. What is crappy knife that I'm embarrassed to love? What crappy knife? And I don't know. I just couldn't come up with one. All right, continuing on. We have one last question. Which knife do you most regret obtaining and why? Good question. This is going to be a kind of weird answer, but if I wish I had the money back for this knife. It was just really close to being awesome, and then from the neck on down it wasn't, and I regret buying it. I was glad that I could review it and have a look at it. I just wish I'd had it in hand first, because I never would have spent the money on it. This is the Cold Steel Night Force, and it is just about 2 scales away from being awesome. Yeah, see, just a beautiful blade. If you just looked at the blade, that Damascus looking steel there, what is that, Damascus steel? And carbon fiber laminate, that's what got me. If they would have put the same carbon fiber on this thing that they did on the GoldenEye Elite, then this thing would have been a keeper, and I would never be trying. I can't sell this thing. I think I ruined the reputation of this knife too bad with my review, and I sabotaged myself from selling it. So I might change its scales out, find somebody who can do some scales for me, and that would make it awesome and unsellable, because I wouldn't sell it then. I love the blade on this thing, and I love the way it feels in my hand. It's just the carbon fiber reminds me of that Ganzo, and 200 whatever it was, 20 bucks on this thing, and you get the same handles that you get on a Ganzo. That's all, you know, kind of slick and oily feeling. So this is the one I regret the most. Oh, who said that? Primitive Futurologist. He's the one that came up with that question. Okay, that's it. That's it for the Q&A. Y'all have had almost 50 minutes of me talking about myself. If I have any subs left after this, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm glad I got to tell you a little bit about myself. Like here, slam the like button, subscribe, and get over to Facebook. Some really cool stuff going on over there right now. I think that's it. Thank you again for answering my questions, and I will talk to y'all later. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, no. You asked the question. I answered. Thank you for asking the questions. Now I mean it. I'll talk to you later.